Welcome to South Florida Saltwater Fishing. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite. All right, folks, welcome to the weekly live fishing report. This is the place where we are going to talk about what's biting, who's catching what, where it's biting. We're also going to go over our future marine forecast, the moon phase, the tides, all that goodness. Before we get into this though, if you want to learn more about fishing, grow as an angler, and just see some great and exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can hit that subscribe button and join the South Florida Saltwater Fishing family. All right, folks, so we got a great show. We got a lot of information to go on. We got a lot of information to go over this week, and we are going to start by talking about what's biting. The main thing biting that I saw a lot of action with this weekend, the talk of the town, is sailfish. Many tournaments happening. It's sailfish tournament time. What's that mean? That means, if you're into buying goggle eyes, they probably went from like $85 a dozen to $120 overnight. But regardless, sailfish is what's biting. I saw many boats coming in with 20, 30. I saw a boat come in with 41. I even saw a couple of boats that came in and had, I believe one boat had 60, they said, or they had 65, and another boat came in, they said they caught 61 out of 80. So my question is, which is an obvious question, who carries 60 plus sailfish flags on their boat? I mean, that's amazing that they they've got that on their boat, and that they to catch 60 sailfish in, let's say, an 8 or a 10 hour span. That's 10 sailfish every hour. You're doubling and tripling up. So, great sailfishing going on right now. And like I said, it's sailfish tournament time. But that is the main thing that's biting. So let's focus on the other stuff that everybody else is probably going after. First, we're going to talk a little bit about Inshore. What's biting there? Right now, I've seen some lots of sheephead being caught, some snook, and a few pompano are still around hanging out in the the surf. The sheep's head, they are hung out around docks and bridges and stuff like that. And let me just show you a quick little picture that we got going on here of the sheep's head. And hold on. Let me get this going on here. There we go. There it is, real quick. Here's our sheep's head picture. Just a random picture that I found. Very nice catch. Look at that right there. That's some sheep's head. Nice haul right there. Nothing wrong with taking those bad boys home. So, like I said, sheep's head, pompano, snook. There's a few mangrove snapper hanging around the piers. So that's your inshore report right there. If you are into that sort of fishing, the snook are still around. The shrimp run is still going on down in the greater Miami area. Somebody told me the other day that they are killing it down in the Biscayne Bay area. So that's, if you're still getting the shrimp, you go out there and you fish shrimp. That's what your fish are going to be biting on and hitting with. So just keep that in mind. If you're fishing down around Miami and looking to get into the bite, they're feeding on shrimp. Don't fish out of what the major food source is. All right. So the next thing we'll talk about is our reef fishing. What's going on the reef? Right now, the mutton snapper bite has really started to pick up again. I saw many posts and pictures of people on either Facebook, Instagram, or sending me pictures that the mutton snapper is starting to bite again. So let me see if we can get this up here real quick. Sorry about that. We will and the mutton snapper, they're biting from all the way down in Miami all the way up to the Treasure Coast. It's possible that they're spawning. I'm not really into that. I haven't read any information, but I just see everyone kind of going and sharing their pictures of what they've caught. So let's see what we got here. All right, cool. Here we are. Okay. Also, let's see. We got a nice grouper going on here. Somebody caught a grouper trolling. Let me show you a picture of that real quick. Pretty cool. Black grouper. They're out of season, but still can't complain about that. Right here. Look at that. Nice black grouper from Sean. You know, he also said he hooked something massive, fought it for 45 minutes and lost it. More than likely a shark. And then he got some bonita. So that's good that the false albacore are showing up also. Continue on, see what else we got going on. That was a post that somebody did also. Let's see here. Keep going on with some weekend invites. Oh, also Inshore up north in the Titusville area. I got a buddy who fishes up there. We got he's got small little redfish inshore. This is a picture of Hayden. Nice little redfish going on. Said he caught a couple of those. He didn't want to come out and fight the windy directions, even though it was a swell. Not really choppy, but hey, you know, you do what you got to do. Do what you feel comfortable with. Let's see what else we got going on here that people sent in. All right, this is a hot mess of a box. That's a barracuda, a couple of kingfish. This was trolling out ballyhoo. Very good. Over to Deep Reef. Let's see what else. Still, we got the, here we go. Box full of yellowtails, triggerfish, little kingfish down here in the bottom of the box. That's definitely a solid haul right there. This is said. He caught this out of Boynton Beach. So we're doing good. Oh, he's got a margate in the box too down there if we take a look at it. So that's your reef fishing right now. Let me see if we got anybody else showing up anything. Not really. We will check the mail and see what else. We got a drift boat. Drift boats are always great to look at and see what they're catching. Take a look at this. This is just a shot from the Fish City Pride out of Pompano Beach. They are here. We got a nice set of kings and a good haul of yellowtail. So this is your reef fishing. That's what's going on right now. Looks like everybody was pounding away at the reef this week. Fairly good. Bear with me 2 seconds. I'll get up my notes and see if we got anything else to talk about the reef. Like I said, mutton snapper bite was actually the talk of the town when it comes to the reef. Mutton snapper, always good. Those big solid 24 plus ones. As you saw there, the kings are starting to show back up. The yellowtails are still solid. We also have cirro mackerel that are showing up in the mix with the yellowtails. Check this out right quick. We got a little cirro mackerel. Randy caught that guy, but that just shows you that they're showing up, and they're not thick, but they're not scarce. So they'll be in the mixture with those yellowtails if you're sitting there chumming. And also you saw the triggerfish in the box too. So just be wary, if you're not getting hits, the triggerfish are probably chewing your bait up, and you're going to be left with like a little corncob skeleton of a sardine or whatever it is that you're using for bait. All right. Oh, also I saw somebody on Facebook. I saw somebody caught a solid bluefish. I mean, we get little bluefish down here. They're not typically real big, but this looked like about a 30-inch bluefish. Great catch for the day. Hopefully they got more than just that, but regardless, it only takes one fish to make that fishing trip special, right? Right. Okay, so let's head on out and talk a little bit about trolling. So this week, like I said, trolling. You saw the black grouper was actually caught on a troll over the reef. The bucket full of kings and barracudas and stuff. Hold on 1 second. Let me bring that back up. Let's see what we got here. Bucket full of kings. Bear with me. There we are. No, Okay, again, kings and kudas, that's the word on the deep reef if you're trolling it right now. So here's what we're looking at. There we are again. Kings, kudas, standard reef stuff. He said he was out trolling barracuda. He was out trolling ballyhoo, 3 barracuda, 2 king mackerels, and 2 bonita. So again, the false albacore. So we're starting to have the spring, the early spring fish are going to start showing up again. Also saw several wahoo picks, multiple wahoos in one box. If you got one, hey, that's lucky. You can't complain about that. So the wahoo bite, the kingfish bite, all the reef predators are starting to show back up in force, which is good. It makes you get out. Hopefully, when we do our weather forecast here in a little bit, it will be promising and people can get out. Okay, so that's our trolling. Also saw that the charter boats, they were lacing into a few dolphin on top of the wahoo. I did see some dolphin. Hard to tell where they were at. Charter boats, when they're out with folks, they don't tend to go way offshore unless you're down in the Keys and have to. Up here in Tri-County area, Palm Beach down to Miami, you can head out and you're 1.5 miles offshore, you're in 200 feet of water. So it's kind of difficult to tell where the mahi came from, but they still had some pictures of mahi in their coolers, so that's a promising sign. So, you know, fishing for them, I would say it's a shot in the dark, but it's worth it if you want to give it a try. Okay. Again, oops, bear with me 1 second. We'll get that brought back up real quick, and we're going to move on with our show, and we're going to talk about going out deep here, deep dropping. And that's going to lead to another topic. First, out deep dropping. The vermilions are still strong. You got the charter boats. They are still catching vermilion snapper like crazy because it's a slow bite with a lot of other stuff. So the vermilions are always around all year. And they're also still pulling in some almaco jacks. And if the bite's real slow, the drift boats and the charter boats, they're going to go in over 50, 60 feet, and they're going to drop down chicken rigs and catch lane snapper. Remember, lane snapper have to be 8 inches, and you can keep 10 of them. It's kind of a small fish, but still, if you're catching nothing, you can go in, and the lane snapper, I saw the Bolo actually loaded up on lane snapper. It was either today or yesterday. They had a bunch of those in their catch with the folks they took out. But back to going out deep dropping, along with the vermilion snapper, what I'm seeing caught a lot of is porgy. Porgy's a great tasting fish, so don't shy away. If you pull one up, hey man, that's dinner in the bucket. Next, what else is out deep? Golden tilefish still. Solid bite still. I've seen several people catching them. And this leads to my next topic that I want to talk about, is the fact that NOAA has yet once again decided to close our golden tilefish fishery this coming week. So today's the 27th, so you have 2 more days to catch golden tilefish. The season closes February 29th. I guess good grief, it's a leap year. We got 1 extra day. Woohoo! All jokes aside though, let me read a little bit of this information here because it's kind of upsetting for folks. The fact that the golden tilefish fishery was only open for 2 months. It's ridiculous in many people's eyes. They're blaming the commercial industry. I don't know where they get their numbers from. So I'm going to read this here for you verbatim. It says, estimates indicate recreational landings for the 2024 fishing year will reach the 2024 recreational catch limit. Therefore, NOAA Fisheries announces that the end date of the recreational season for golden tilefish is February 29th. And the recreational sector for golden tilefish in the South Atlantic federal waters will be closed from March 1st through December 31st, 2024. So you have to wait till next year to go fish for them again. Here's the thing. It's always interesting to say, hey, how are you getting these numbers of recreational people? I understand they more than likely monitor Facebook and Instagram, see who's catching what, but some of that stuff is tall tales. I could literally take an old picture off my phone from a few years back and post it and say, look, guys, I caught this great tilefish. So it's hard to check. And recreational fishermen don't report golden tilefish catches, unlike, other fish like swordfish. Oh, speaking of swordfish, there's still a consistent swordfish bite going on out deep. Remember, if you're deep dropping, there's deep dropping for tilefish, rosies, all that stuff. And then there's sword fishing, which is an entirely different ball game. And yes, the rosies are still biting too out deep. If you're catching nothing, you got your electric reel, just go out and make sure you're over the rocky bottom and not over the mud. That way you avoid the golden tilefish. So that being said, NOAA's done everybody a great favor. From what my understanding is that the catch limit is 450,000 pounds. Here's the issue with the golden tilefish closure. The rain, let me say this right. What they are calling South Atlantic federal waters stretches from South Carolina down to the Florida Keys. Okay, we're talking, 700 plus miles of coastline, hundreds of thousands of fishermen, unreported catches. It just kind of confuses me as to where they get their information from, but hey, it is what it is. And we just have to put the brakes on that fishing until next year. So if you're into golden tilefish, I really hope you got a chance to get out and get one. Okay. And so that pretty much sums up our fishing for offshore, inshore, and the reef. Like I said, we've got, if you're into trolling, that's going to be the big thing that's starting to fire up with our deep reef species: wahoo, the kingfish, the mahi. The wahoo actually showed up this past week on the full moon, and sailfish. Now, sailfish, more than likely, if you're into going after them, you're going to want to do some kite fishing or fishing with a balloon. Grab your goggle eyes, your pilchards, whatever bait might be available, dwarf jacks, and go after them. Blue runners also make great bait. So that's it for our fishing report of the week. And now we're going to look at our forecast. So what we're going to do is we will start out with WindFinder, which is a great website. They provide wind forecasts, and here we are for this week. And don't forget, I am going to put links to all of these websites in the description once we are finished uploading and we finish our session here today. So here we are today. We've got winds from the southeast. Tomorrow, winds from the southeast. They're blowing at about in the low teens, staying consistent throughout the day. We've got, max gusts in the mid to high teens. Let's look at tomorrow. We're going to shift to the east. Thursday, we'll shift to the east. By the way, Thursday, according to our weather forecast, there will be a weak cool front coming through. So it's not going to get cold. Down here in South Florida, the temperature is only going to rise through the weekend. You might feel a little cooler Thursday, maybe into Friday. But if we're going to get any rain this week, because we've got a lot of dry air going on, if we're going to get any rain, the chance of it happening would be best on Thursday. And after that, I believe Friday and maybe Saturday, there's like a 20% chance of rain. Really minor. So Thursday, we're looking at cool front coming through, pushing through, winds from the east. Friday, and so it says it's from the east, and you would think our wind direction would shift to the northeast, but what there is there's high pressure down in the Caribbean right now, pushing against that front that's sort of coming down over the northwest. So that's why our winds look like they're shifted that way. On Friday, our wind picks up from the southeast, gusts into the 20s, steady winds, 18 miles an hour, high teens. Saturday, Sunday, wind shifts back down to the southeast, and we're into the teens. And Sunday, actually, it looks like the wind's going to give us a little bit of a break. So that's our wind outlook for the rest of the week. Next Monday, actually, also, we will have, it's going to hang out just like it was, maybe pick up a little bit. It'll be about the same as Sunday into next Tuesday also. So now what we're going to do is we're going to jump over to Windy. Windy is a great website that shows you wind directions, shows you wave heights. It'll show us rain. We're going to take a look at that right now. So here's Windy. As a matter of fact, what I can do is I can enlarge this. Windy is really cool. So you start out here and we can zoom in to wherever we want, right? We can look at, here is Palm Beach up to, Fort Pierce, Vero, Sebastian. Down over here, we've got Marco Island and Naples, 10,000 Islands, Chokoloskee area. So if we look at what's going on today, we've got our southeast winds, which agrees with what WindFinder showed. And down here, we've got the color-coded map that tells you what strengths your winds are. So you see we're actually in the low digits, up into a little double digits here, up in around Boynton Beach, Palm Beach, Miami. We're down around 5 to 8 miles an hour. Over here on the west coast, they got a west wind, which means if anything, they got a swell, unlike over here where we've got the southeast wind. So we've probably got some chop going on. Over here in the west coast, down in the Chokoloskee area over here, you can see we're 5-10 miles an hour. Up towards Naples, we're above 10. We're in the teens. So this is windy, right? Our wind direction shows us which way everything is going. You can see the little white streaks. So that's a pretty cool application for understanding your wind and getting a visual of what it's really doing. Now, the next cool thing I want to show you on Windy is we can look at our waves, see which way our waves are coming from. This is a great visual for you. If you zoom in, you look at it, and we see we've got our waves coming from the east with that southeast wind. And down here, we've also got our wave heights. So we've got waves that are around 2 foot going on, 2 to 3, not bad. Like I said, it's going to be chopped out there because we've got it coming from the east. A little bit sporty, not too bad. And then as we go down further south in Miami, it lets up Key Biscayne area, down in the Keys, again over in the bay side, not bad. Ocean side, it's 1 to 3, not bad. Over here in Chokoloskee area, 10,000 Islands. Same, we've got a mild swell going on over in Marco Island, Naples. We've got our waves are rolling along the coast. So that's that for our waves. Now let's look going forward what our waves are going to do. Wednesday, it looks like they're going to pick up. So the darker this gets, the higher and stronger the waves get. If we get into purples and reds, that's really a warning sign to not go out at all. Thursday, it looks like we're going to let up again, but we've got the cold front, the weak cold front coming through. So it's going to be windy, possibly rain, but this is 1 to 3, not bad. Friday, looking at picking up again, looks like we're going to get a northeast swell coming in. So it could be a little bit bumpy out there. Let's go back and see what our wind is happening on Friday versus what our waves are doing. And we can probably tell a little bit about that. So we'll look at our wind. We've got wind on Friday coming from the southeast, and we've got waves coming from the northeast. So it'll be a little bit of a swell. Shouldn't be too bad. Saturday for our wave heights, we're looking 3, 4. It'll be a little sporty out there. So if you're looking at getting offshore, you know, when you get motion sick, be sure to take your Dramamine. Over on the West Coast, we're still laid down as of the weekend because of the wind that's coming from the southeast. Let's see, southeast on Saturday. Yep, southeast, which is going to lay down the West Coast for us. Back to our waves. Sunday, again, not bad. 1 to 3. Maybe some, you know, a little bit of bumpiness going on in there. Waves directions coming pretty much from the east. Not too much of a confused sea. We'll look out at the Bahamas. If you're thinking about making a run that way, we've got some waves down towards Miami coming out of the southeast, and they sort of swoop over and start heading from the more easterly as we head up the coast into Stewart. As we go north, it looks like we're picking up Palm Bay, Sebastian area. Yeah, it's gonna be a little rough up north there in the Orlando area, Cocoa Beach, Titusville. We're looking at some good, you know, good seas up there. So it might not be an offshore day out there, but the further we head down south, we might be okay. Monday, we'll be looking at, again, more calm seas going into next week. Looks like down in Miami, we're looking at less than a foot up towards Lake Park, Palm Beach, Boynton, Boca. Not bad, 2 feet or less. Over on the West Coast Monday, we're real laid down. If you're staying close by, if you're heading offshore, I'm sure it's going to pick up when you get out in, you know, 100 miles offshore, out by the oil rigs, if that's what you're looking for. So there we have our wind forecast. Let's look at the wind. Our wind is shifting directions currently. This will be Thursday. We're going straight from the east. Friday, we'll turn back southeast. It's looking pretty gusty on Friday. Thursday, remember, we've got that cold front coming through. Saturday winds, not bad. 10 in the high teens offshore. The further north we go, of course, like I said, we're going to be getting pounded. All right, so that's our forecast. Let's real quick shut that down because we're running out of time here. It's good to go over that. We'll look at what NOAA is going to say real quick. NOAA is saying tonight, 15 to 20 knot winds, gusts to 25. Tomorrow, 2 to 4 feet, period of 5 seconds. So we got our period closing in. Let me explain what a period means. When you got a period of like 8, 9, 10 seconds, that's a swell. When you've got a period that shortens up 5 or less seconds, 3 seconds especially, that's very choppy seas. That's going to make your boat rock and roll and go all over the place. Wednesday, 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 3. Thursday, cold front, 2 feet or less. So, you know, if you want to head out and try and beat the front, do some fishing before that barometric pressure changes, that might be a good idea. Friday, southeast winds, all this is kind of jiving with what we see going on from our wind and graphics maps. Seas 4 to 6. It's hard to tell if that's swell, but it's saying that the inlet in the intracoastal waters are going to be choppy. So bear that in mind Friday. Same thing heading into the weekend. It's looking like it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy weekend out there. Southeast winds 10 to 15, gusts 20, seas 3 to 4. So this jives with what our graphic was saying. And Sunday, we've got southeast winds. So it looks like it might settle down, which is what we saw in our graphic for Sunday. Seas around 2 feet. So that being said, if you're wanting to get out, it looks like Thursday and possibly Sunday are going to be your days to go. All right. There we have that. Now we will head on to our moon phase. Like I said, we're running out of time. We're going to blast right through this real quick and get you up and rolling for the rest of the week. Hold on, let me find my moon phase. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Moon phase. Today we are on a waning moon. So when they talk about moon phases, waning means we are heading away from a full moon. Waxing means we are heading towards the full moon. So today we're at 92% moon. If you could have got out, maybe wahoo bite still going on. Like I said, the wahoo bite happened good this weekend. Tomorrow, 86%. That would be, so tomorrow is Wednesday, 86%. Thursday, we're looking at 79%. Our moon is starting to wane. Friday, 71%. Saturday, 61%. So if you're going after those reef creatures, just think they're going to be eating less, and the mahi might actually be able to bite. Sunday, we're going to have half moon. Monday, little less, which means if the mahi are swimming around, they won't be eating all night because the ocean won't be illuminated. Kind of hard to just feed by sound for the mahi. So hopefully they'll start showing up, and maybe if you're going after them, you get lucky. Okay, let's talk about the last thing here, which is going to be our tides. Tides are very important. Remember, it's always best to fish on the outgoing tide. And from what I'm looking at, that doesn't look like what we're going to have in the morning time. So if you are a morning fisherman, the tides are not in your favor. However, the good thing is that you do have a tide. You do have water flow, which is always a positive. And the tide thing is always, it's not a rule. It's just a kind of observation of what's worked over the years. Now, back in November, I had a buddy who was catching wahoo at the ebb tide of the incoming tide, interestingly enough. So it wasn't the falling tide, the outgoing tide, it was the incoming tide, and he caught them at the slack tide of that. Regardless, let's look. Tuesday, we've got our incoming tide from 3 in the morning till 9:30 in the morning. It drops down, starts going out until about 4 in the afternoon. Same thing throughout the rest of the week. Let's look. Thursday, that day we were talking might be a better day. Tide, you're going to have an incoming tide till about 10:43. So if you get out early enough, you can still fish the tide. Come 11 o'clock, you're going to have slack, so the bite might die down. Then in the afternoon, when in your fall, you've got, if you do afternoon fishing, you'll have tide pull until about almost 5 in the afternoon. Friday, same thing. Friday's looking like some weather happening. Saturday too. And but it's going to stay typical to this, to where your tide is rising this week in the morning and it's falling in the afternoon. Remember, tidal pulls happen on a 12-hour cycle. Okay. That is it for all of our information about our up and coming forecast, the weather, the moon phase, and the tide charts. Again, Thursday, Sunday looks great for the days to get out and possibly do it. If you can get out Thursday, good for you. I know me, I'll be at work wishing I was fishing, but hey, it is what it is. All right, so that about does it for this week's fishing report. If you've got any comments or any questions, be sure to let me know. Also, just to let you guys know, there is the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. Looks like, let me show you. Let me pull it up real quick before I say bye. This is on Facebook. If you have Facebook, be sure to stop by, check it out, ask to join the group. It's here. It's got a little red tag down here that you can't see because I'm the moderator for the group. It says South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report in red. I ask, hey, anybody, send me your pics. You want to be part of the show? Send me your pictures. I will try my darndest to get it on. We report about everything. There's the golden tilefish closure. There's Mike from from Florida Sports Fishing. Rubbing it in everyone's face, catching golden tilefish before the end of the season. So check it out if you get a chance, and join the group. It can't hurt. Anyway, that about does that for that. And remember, this is South Florida Saltwater Fishing, hopefully what you consider to be the premier informational YouTube channel for the Tri-County area in South Florida. So if you haven't done yet and you enjoy what you're seeing, be sure to subscribe and help out the channel, support the channel, join the fishing family, and basically keep in the know so that you can get some information, have some fun, and hopefully get out there and catch some fish. All right, folks, that about does it for this episode of the Fishing Report. Hope to see you next week. Until next time, South Florida saltwater fishing, going wherever the cool wind takes us.